Hi, my name is Brittany, and this is my personal introduction video for EDL 853. I'm originally from Kansas, and I've always lived in Kansas. I'm from Goodland. I went on to K-State in Manhattan, and then I took my first job here in Garden City, and I've been here for 14 years now. I started as a middle school math teacher for about 7 years, and then I went to fourth grade for a couple years, which was what I originally went to school for. So that was a good experience. Then I did reading interventions. And now, currently, this year, I am a math coach at two of our elementary schools here in town. Garden City Public Schools has really become a part of me, my experience, my training. All the diversity that we have here has really made me who I am as an educator. A little bit more about that. Our district has about 7,500 students. We have 11 elementary schools, 2 intermediate centers that are 5-6, 2 middle schools and a high school. And we're looking at reconfiguring, so that'll be interesting to see how that changes, if we'll go 6, 7, 8 and do K-5, or there's lots of talk of a lot of different things. Our district is 70% Hispanic, about 20% white, and 10% is African American and other races. We have about 72% that are economically disadvantaged. 43% of our students are English language learners, and about 13 are students with disabilities. So we have a wide range of students that we educate, which gives us lots of, again, training and experience for all of the students that we encounter here. For my critical reflection, we have a really great special education department that helps to service all of our students. We do a lot of servicing students in core instruction with IEP. When we set up IEPs, a lot of them are push-in services that they get with paras, or if it's appropriate, they will get pull-out services, but they try to not pull them out of core instruction as much as possible. They feel like that's really important. We're starting to see a bigger push for co-teaching. We have a lot of special education teachers that are in classrooms. So really getting some training to go more towards a co-teaching model is important right now. And I feel like we, as the special education department, they have a lot of professional development that they do within themselves. And I'll talk more about that later in my plan. On my own personal use with special education and working with those students is just the experience of being in the classroom. I had a lot of experience with push-in services when I was in the middle school, where we had teachers and paras that would come in and help with the students and help with modifications and accommodations. And then when I went to elementary, I dealt with some more pull-out than I had at the middle school. And I think our district does a really good job of training teachers for ELL support and helping special education students and just good teaching practices. Sometimes I think we could be a little more specific in those areas, but a lot of the things that we would do for a special education student are good for all students, or especially ELL trainings. But I would like to personally know more about the process of SPED as a whole. I just really have dealt with having a student in my classroom and having some support with that student. A plan that I would like to see our schools move towards is is more professional development for teachers that's really specific to special education. What are some of the accommodations that we write into IEPs, and how do we best do those? A lot of times there's not a lot of face-to-face with the classroom teacher and the special education teacher. And I think sometimes the classroom teacher is just doing what they assume an accommodation might be or a modification, and not really understand, the whys behind it, or how that best helps a student. And so just more specific training for classroom teachers about how to work with IEPs even. And I'd like to see more of a combined approach with, a lot of times I see teachers that feel like special education students are, a classroom teacher might think the special education student is the special education teacher's sort of issue to deal with. So if they're not performing well, they're a SPED student and they go with a special education teacher, and not really have that combined accountability and wanting to see that student do well between the both of you. So I would like to see that become a little more important, and just the accountability of an IEP, and are we following it? And a lot of times I think classroom teachers think they are, but with a little more feedback, they might do a better job at it. And as far as funding, besides maybe bringing in outside sources for professional development, that wouldn't really change a lot, or maybe just rescheduling some in-service time, or there might be some ways to not really increase funding to better serve our special education students. So I look forward to learning more in this class. Thank you.